Welcome to Classic Value Investors and Microcap Explosions. This is Mariusz Konieczny. Judging by the kind of emails and comments I've been getting lately, I suspect a lot of you, a lot of us, have been reading a little bit too much news lately and been getting distracted by the negativity and doomsday predictions. Okay, for example, some of the questions I've been asked is, how do you navigate this market? What do you do if there's going to be a correction? And all sorts of things. And we are all listening to that and, are looking for answers on how to navigate this market. I always believe that the best way to answer it or the best way to behave is to always go back to the basics and think about who it is that we are when we are engaged in stock market investing, right? I simply copied it from people that came before me, but I always think of myself as an owner, partial owner of the businesses that I own. So let's say, and it doesn't matter that I am not a 100% owner, as long as I am an owner, partial owner, I think of myself as an owner. And things become much clearer when you think of yourself as such. Now, let me give you a few examples. Let's say you own a restaurant. You serve your clients, right? You have a cook, you have your staff, and maybe even you are working in the restaurant helping out, or maybe you're the cook, or maybe you're the server, I don't know. But you own a restaurant, right? And what is your focus of the restaurant? The focus is to make great food, deliver it on time, have enough clients, and to serve your clients so that they keep coming back. The last thing you worry about is what the Fed is doing with interest rates, right? I mean, the last thing you do is listen to doomsday predictions about what's going to happen in the stock market, right? You simply focus on the business, okay? But we as stock market investors constantly get distracted by all of these things that can matter but shouldn't matter that much. Because remember how I said in the previous video that the stock prices are like Mr. Market coming to you every day and offering you to either buy you out from that business or offers you to buy his stake in the business every day. So, but the problem is that Mr. Market is manic depressive. Sometimes Mr. Market is very happy and is willing to offer you high prices, and sometimes is very unhappy and depressed and is either going to buy out your interest for a very low price or unload his interest on you at a very low price. So picture this: if you were, again, a restaurant owner and you have the Mr. Market that is your partner, okay, in the restaurant, and every day he shows up, knocks on the door, and offers you some kind of price. Now, if you as a restaurant owner are concerned about what Mr. Market would offer you the next day, then what's likely going to happen is you are going to stop focusing on your business, which is cooking good food, serving good customers and all that stuff, and you are going to be worried all day long about what is Mr. Market going to offer me tomorrow. Should I sell to him on Monday because on Wednesday he's going to offer me a lower price? No, of course you wouldn't do this, because that would be a complete insanity. okay? But in the stock market, we are constantly worried about that. What should I do with my portfolio because so and so said that the stock market is going to collapse, okay? Now, the truth is that nobody knows. I mean, seriously, if you really think anybody knows what's going to happen, you are delusional. Think about this. Let's rewind. Let's rewind to the beginning of 2019. Imagine that I was so smart and I told you that at the end of 2019 we were going to get this horrible virus, coronavirus, COVID, that was going to paralyze all the economies around the world. Okay? What would you have done? If you listened to this prediction, you would have probably sold all of your stocks, as many people did. And what happened? And what happened to the stock market? We had one of the best stock market performance ever. Okay? So you could have had this inside information, this inside prediction about this horrible virus coming, and you would have been so wrong. You would have been temporarily right because everybody sold everything, but you would have been wrong in medium term on the performance of the stock market. So why are we wasting our time trying to predict what's going to happen next month, next quarter, and listening to these people that have absolutely no idea? And there's plenty of things to worry about, okay? Interest rates going up, deficits being too high, money losing value. I mean, name it, you know? You can sit all day long and live in fear. I don't want to live in fear, okay? I can't live in fear. I have a business to run. I'm a restaurant owner. I cannot worry about deficits, Bitcoin doing this or that, money printing this or... I cannot worry about these things. I have to run the business and I have to feed my family. I have to pay my bills. I have to pay my employees. I have to make sure that my customers are happy with the product that I'm providing. That's what I worry about. That's what I have control over. I don't have control over what everybody else, including Mr. Market, thinks on Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, or June, or July. I don't have time for that. I don't have any control over that. Let me give you another example. I have a friend that his daughter is studying for the past, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 years. I don't know. She's been studying and she's in residency right now to become a doctor. Okay? And now, since she's in residency, she's technically already a doctor, I guess. But, you know, she's not like a full professional yet. So in a year or two, she will be a doctor. So what is she doing? What has she been doing over the last however many years? She has been developing herself as a business, right? Because she is developing human capital to become a doctor so that she can provide her healthcare services to people, hospitals, or whatever for compensation. So she in herself is a business. Now, as her father, is he supposed to listen to the news, to what the Fed is doing, and it's like calling her every other day, you know what, I'm taking you out of school today because the Fed raised interest rates by 1/4 point or 0.5%. How ridiculous would this be, right? No. But, or let's say you're a drug dealer, okay, and your business is selling drugs to drug addicts. Why the hell would you care about what the Fed is doing, what the deficits are, what the dollar is doing? No, you wouldn't. You just want to buy illegal drugs and sell them to the fucking addicts, right? That's all you worry about. No, now, So why do we worry constantly about what's going on and not focusing on the businesses? You might say, well, but I'm not really running a business. What's the difference? Okay? What's the difference? You are an owner of a business if you own a stock in the business. It doesn't matter who actually does the work in terms of a long-term potential of a business or a value of a business. What matters is who owns it. And if you're the owner of the business, that's what matters. So start acting like an owner instead of like a trader. And now, should there be things that you should be worried about? Yes. What you should be worried about is the kind of business that you own. If you own a business that doesn't make money, loses money every year, it has very unstable revenue, relies on investors to keep putting money into it, to keep it afloat, is swimming in debt, and you overpaid 10 or 15 times for it, then yes, you should worry about what you have in your portfolio. Because if you rely on outside capital to save your business during slow times or during bad times, then you have a lot to worry about. Yes, but if you focus on businesses that you didn't overpay for them, have real revenues, have real customers, and those revenues are stable, quality revenues, the business has something special about it, the business has a moat, the clients need the services, the clients cannot simply switch those services, and your balance sheet is relatively clean. It doesn't, you're not swimming in debt, then there's nothing really to worry about. If the revenues go down a little bit and you make a little bit less money, so what? That's the reality of a business. Now, as long as your business is strong enough and stable enough and healthy enough to survive the bad times, you're going to still own that business. So you shouldn't worry about it. But if you own shit, then yes, you should worry about, because if you have a business that has a lot of debt, right, as I said before, and constantly needs capital from outside, then during the bad times, you might get diluted out of your position, right? You might be taken to the bankruptcy court and end up losing everything. I've done that. I went through that. I've seen what it's like. Therefore, never again will I own shit. Okay? If you look at something like Oracle, am I worried about Oracle? No. Why? Because they have the asset, they don't have any debt, they have the money to drill. Okay? So if copper goes to shit because of whatever, they have the money to continue progressing the property. Okay? If they didn't have the money, then it would be something to worry about. But they have the money. Now, let me give you examples of other businesses, and hopefully this will be a message to you, is to focus on the business. Because if you rely on the business to bail you out, that's good. Because then if you have a good business, it will bail you out of bad situations. If you rely on your partners or investors / traders to bail you out, then yes, I would worry about it. If you own shit like Bitcoin that doesn't have any value and it's not really used for anything, and it doesn't become the global currency that everybody is expecting it, yeah, then maybe I would worry about it. Let me talk about some of the businesses outside of the stock market that I have, and we'll see if I worry about it. One of my business that I have is I write books, right? I have 10 books that I wrote, and do I worry about what the Fed is doing with interest rates? No. Why? Because some months I'm going to sell more books, some months I'm going to sell less books. My book business doesn't have any debt, doesn't need any money from outside investors. 1 month it sells more, 1 month it sells less. Nothing to worry about. Another business I have is how to make a ballroom competition dress DVDs or videos. I don't know, some of you, I have a website with a guy called ballroomdancefashions.com. We developed this product to teach people how to make ballroom dresses because they're expensive, like $2,000 to $3,000. So I thought that I would partner up with a guy who knows how to make these ballroom dresses, and we would offer videos and DVDs on how to make them and teach the world how to do it. And I would say that we sold so many of these that it could have financed my entire Oracle position when I bought it in 2017, and you know what it could have turned into. But the bottom line is that we sell it all over the world. We barely have any competition. We don't have any debt on it. When we sell, we make money. If we don't sell, we don't make money. But do I worry about a business like this? Of course not. Did we sell less of these during COVID? Yes, because the dance industry was absolutely hammered. All the competitions were canceled, and if there's no competitions, people don't need to make dresses, right? So there was like 6 months that we didn't sell a single video. Was I worried about it? No. And now we're selling again. So we have the business. It went through a really bad time, but the business is still here. We still own the same amount of the business that we owned before, and it's okay. It didn't go out of business. Why? Because it was a decent business. It didn't have any debt. It survived the bad times. Nothing to worry about. Another business that I want to talk to you about is perfect pastry pie crust mold. Okay, all it is like these rings. So 3 rings in a package like this, and what it does is you take the ring, you put it on a kitchen table or whatever, and you put a pie dough here, and you roll the pie, and as the pie dough expands, eventually it reaches the edges and it becomes a perfect circle. So this is a product that we sell on Amazon, and same thing. Am I supposed to worry about whether I'm going to lose this business because the deficits are too high, the stock market is going to sell off, the Fed is going to raise interest rates, dollar is going to lose its value, Bitcoin is going to go up or down? No. I have zero concerns about this business. Why? Because it's good. I'm going to keep owning it. Some months it's going to make more, some months it's going to make less. And actually, because of COVID, it made a pretty decent money because people were at home, stuck at home making pies. So we did okay. Now, so if you're listening to me talking about these businesses, you obviously are like, yeah, it makes sense. So why the hell do we worry about our businesses constantly? And that's because when you have a business like this, or even if you own real estate, a lot of people in real estate, they're like, oh, I like real estate because it's better than the stock market because I can't lose money. No. That's not a good comparison. I'll tell you why they like real estate. They like real estate because they are focusing on the business. They are focusing on how much rent they're getting, whether they're filling up empty units, and whether the tenants are paying. That's what they're worried about. They're worried about cash flow. They're worried about fundamentals. Now, they are not worried about what the property or the properties, real estate properties that they have in their portfolio. They're not worried about the value of them because they don't have Mr. Market coming and knocking on their doors and saying, today your portfolio is worth this. Today I'm going to pay you this. That's why they like it. But it has nothing to do with the stock market or non-stock market or whatever. It's simply because they don't have anybody bothering them every day, telling them that there's going to be a 10% correction or this or that. They don't have anybody drawing graphs, doing astrology, 30-day moving averages, telling them what the Mr. Market is going to tell them the next day. They simply focus on the business. So why don't we focus on the business? That's exactly what we should. Now, there are some advantages and disadvantages to being in the stock market. The advantage is that you have a lot of non-owners that can sell you their interest in the businesses. That's why we can have inefficiencies in the stock market. That's why you can buy businesses for less than they're worth, because who you're dealing with is non-owners. Who you're dealing with is traders, short-term thinkers that look at the news and react. They will sell you something because someone told them that the next day it's going to be down 20%. That's why we have the opportunity. Now, the price that we have to pay for having that opportunity is to be able to deal with volatility. Now, if you cannot stand your portfolio being down 50%, yes, 50, every 3 or 4 or 5 years, you don't belong here, okay? This is the price you have to pay. If you think that you can avoid having your portfolio being down for all kinds of reasons, you are delusional, okay? And now, if you sell every time you think that the stock is going to drop, you will never, ever experience huge multi-bagger runs, because a multi-bagger, it is not a straight line, okay? Multi-bagger is, it is volatile. So the question is, do you have the conviction to hold your positions long enough to actually benefit from these multi-bagger returns? If you are listening to the news and you're listening to this guy or this guy predicting the doomsday, then you're never going to experience that, because you will be shaken out your positions. I told you before that I bought Oracle at 4 cents. Right now we're almost at $2. Look at the stock price. Look at the stock price and look at what people have to have gone through during that time to get those results. It is wild. And to think that you will not be down because of whatever reasons, it is delusional. So in conclusion, my message is focus on the business, know what you own, don't overpay for things, and then it's okay to sit on your ass and do nothing. Because you know what? I refuse to live in fear. I cannot invest, and every time someone says something on the news about, to react to it, okay? I'm a business owner. If I am involved with Oracle, I am involved from A to Z, okay? Which means sitting through the volatility while we solve the legal problems, which obviously are already behind us, while we register the property, while it's already behind us, while we raise the money, which again is already behind us, while we continue working on the permit, drilling, proving, taking offers from the majors, continually progressing towards the end goal, which is eventual sale. And during the time that we are progressing through it, we will have times that the copper will be up and down. We will have times that there will be news about deficits, interest rates, blah, 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 blah. There will be news and negatives about commodities being hot and cold. Blah. That's all destruction, okay? My goal is on the prize. My goal is on the finish line. And in order to reach the finish line, I have to have conviction, and I have to have the mental capacity to sit through the volatility. And I don't know what you own. If you own companies that are developing into something else, growing into other areas, coming up with new products, disrupting this or disrupting that, if that's the thesis and you like the thesis, then sit on your butt and go through it instead of worrying about what the stock market is going to do in general next week, next month, next year, whatever, or what the Fed is going to do, or what this guy or that guy is going to say. That is all a distraction. Expect volatility. Be okay with being down 30, 40, even at 50% on your portfolio, because believe me, you're not going to be able to time it. And if you are, you're not going to be able to benefit from these multi-bagger returns. You're just a trader, a completely different investor. So I hope this helps. That's really how I'm dealing with this, is focusing on good stuff, sitting on my butt, and progressing towards the finish line.